What's up, everybody? Big Herc with Prison Talk, and I want to say thank you for supporting our channel. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fresh Out Life After the Penitentiary, and also click on our Instagram and Twitter, FreshOutSeries, and show us some support. Thank you. Big Herc, I hope you are really well. I've really been enjoying your clips and have a question. Under what conditions does an inmate manage to get their own cell in prison? Is it a shot callers only that manage to get the privilege, or can it be sheer luck? Also, what's the etiquette for moving into a cell that is already occupied? Well, as far as getting your own cell in prison, a lot of times they have designated single cells for certain races. So, say the Mexicans might have a certain amount of single cells, whether it be Serrano Norteño. The Crips might have a certain amount of single cells. The Bloods might have a certain amount. The white boys might have a certain amount. You're not going to move, if it was a Serrano in a single cell, you're not going to move in there as a black guy into that single cell. They make sure that they manage that, and it basically solidifies like an internal like power structure within inside the prisons. So single cells for certain races are designated for those races, even though it's not written down. But a guard is not going to move you into a cell that can possibly stir up some shit, and other inmates is going to check you on, hey man, you can't get that single cell. As far as who gets those cells, it just depends. I had the opportunity to have a single cell. I was carrying a cool program. I was cool with some of the brothers, and I was at the USP Rampart, and I was able to get a single cell after a particular individual moved out of that cell. And you got to know orderlies. You got to have hookups with the guards. You got to know certain people who run shit, and you can get that. It's more or less political, and it works on like quid pro quo basis. So for every so many single cells for this particular race, they'll give out so many single cells for this particular race, and it's just a balance of power. But as far as etiquette, when you roll up into another man's cell and he's already been in there, then you gotta basically carry yourself a certain way. You don't want to go get in there, throw your shit everywhere. You want to make sure you have your stuff organized where it's packed into a certain area. You ask if you could set things down in certain places, just because you don't want to cause no rift, and this is the person you're going to be living with. You don't want to be sleeping in the middle of the night and get that ass whooped because you're disrespecting this person who's doing 20 years, who's doing 30 years, who's doing even a year, or life. You never know what a person's going through in there. And that cell, that little ass cell that you guys have to live in, which is equivalent to a bathroom on a street, that's all they have. A locker is that's your garage, that's your living room, that's your bedroom, that's your everything, your kitchen. All that is tied in. So cell etiquette is very important. I mean, most guys in prison try to keep their cell as clean as possible because that's all they have. I've been to places on the street, into gyms, bathrooms, people's houses that are filthier than a motherfucking cell in prison. And I'm like, God damn, what I'm saying? Clean your motherfucking house up, First thing I do when I go into anybody's house and look in their bathroom, if you got a filthy ass bathroom, you're a dirty motherfucker, man, because your bathroom should always be clean. But like I said, in prison, your sink is connected to your toilet. A lot of times you're cooking and prepping food right by your motherfucking toilet, so you're keeping all that shit clean. Ain't no splatter. When you're shitting, you better make sure that shit all goes down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of that. Ain't no farting in the room while the motherfucker's up in there with you. You get your ass, you sit on the toilet, you flush when you got to fart. If you got to take a dump, you better wait till the door's cracked. You don't shit with another motherfucker in the room unless you have to. It's mandatory. But you best to try to hold that shit until you have an opportunity for that person to leave, because they don't want to smell your stinky ass. And that's just how it is. You don't spit in the sink. You brush your teeth, you spit in the toilet. A lot of times, you don't walk around a cell with your shoes on. You come in the cell, you take your shoes off, and you most likely got your flip-flops or your shower shoes on. When you're getting on enough to bunk, you let a motherfucker know, because you got to jump over this person, and you want to let them know what's going on. It's just a lot of little shit like that. When you when you cook, you clean, or you're going to take a shower, let your celly know so he can get up and leave. He don't want to see you putting on your motherfucking deodorant and your baby powder, whatever else you're putting on your ball sack when you get out of the shower. He don't want to see none of that shit. So if you're coming out the shower, give a heads up so motherfucker can leave and give you your space. Everybody wants their space. It's already crowded. You're dealing with a fucked up, crowded environment, and a lot of times motherfuckers is just frustrated, man. And so, you know, you want to try to make that as comfortable as possible, especially if you got to share a fucking bathroom with an individual, you know, and you want to manage that area as clean as possible. You know, you don't let shit pile up. You know, you don't leave your trash full like motherfuckers do on the street. They let the trash get all full and shit. You dump that shit as soon as you got something in there. Most likely your trash can never looks like it's been used. And your shoes and shit, you line them up. You know, your bed is always made. You know, your sheets folded and shit. You can't leave a cell and have your bed not made. And it's just a lot more shit that's structured, kind of like the military. You know, a lot of guys out there in the military can relate because, you know, things are structured, and, you know, I get a lot of support from you guys in the armed forces, man, and, you know, more power to you guys for, you know, doing what you're doing. But yeah, man, it's a lot of hygiene stuff that's involved, and you know, shaving. You don't leave your shaving shit out. You don't shave and not clean up. You know, stuff like that, man. When you cut your hair, you make sure you don't have hair and shit. You know, motherfucker want to be cooking some noodles and shit and got fucking hair in the sink, man, while he's trying to cut up cheese or whatever, a sausage or something like that, man. All that shit is subject for you to get your motherfucking wig split. So just be mindful of the other individual, and just pay attention to, you know, your celly when he's in the cell.